Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at BTC. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so before we jump into the smaller degree counts, we're going to go over some of our higher degree things that we're looking for here. So until we actually break this high of this 28,142, we need to be aware of the bearish scenario here where we could potentially still have this as a 1-2. And then we're looking for this as a wave 3. Target area for this would be this 23,168. Invalidation would be taking this high at this 28,142. So we're sitting right in that typical rejection area. So we need to be aware of this and be careful that, if we start to see some 5-wave structure to the downside developing, it could actually indicate that we're looking for something like this wave 3. Now, we do have another count here where we could potentially be looking for an ABC. Now, this could align with this being a bigger A, B, and C pattern where we see something like this, and we're going to see a pushback above these highs. Or alternatively, what we could get here is that this becomes A, B, and C, and this would fit into the diagonal idea here, where what we're saying is that this whole move to the downside is actually playing out as a diagonal pattern. Now, within that idea, what we'd then be saying is that this move here, if we get A, B, and C 1-to-1, like I said, at this 24,724, this could align with the idea of this move actually being our third wave over here, the blue third wave, and then we'd be looking for a 3-wave move up and a 3-wave move to the downside in this 5th wave. Now, invalidation of this idea comes by crossing 22,397. So if we move down below that level, then it is more likely that actually what we have here is that bigger 5-wave pattern looking to play out. Now, if we do look to overshoot this 1-to-1 level, some other areas of interest I will be looking for will be between this 1236 and this 1382 at this 24,118 to this 23,750 level. If we do look to push down here into this lower range, that would align with coming back down here for this possibility of an interaction with this trend line again, and then seeing this additional 4th and 5th. Now, this 4th could potentially bounce up higher here, and we could see something like this, but this would be the main idea here, that really, as long as we actually stay below this 28,142, we need to be careful that we could still see another leg down here, whether this plays out as A, B, and C, or alternatively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have to see how we react from that point. If we do just get 3 waves to the downside here, where this becomes A, B, and C, what's going to be important is how we react next. If we get a 3-wave move up like this, and then another 3-wave move, this would confirm the diagonal. If, however, we see a move to the downside here, where we get 3 waves, what we could be looking for here is a bigger flat where this is A, like I said, this is A, B, and C. We see a move down towards that 24,700 level, and then we'd be looking for that potential of a 5-wave move back to the upside here, looking to actually sweep these highs and looking to push us back up towards this 29,856 to this 28,608 level. So going to be important to see what happens today. Obviously, we've got the press conference later and the Fed and the FOMC. Obviously, we've got the Fed interest rate decision later with the Fed press conference, so we're going to have to keep an eye on the markets at those times to see how we start reacting, but there could be quite a lot of volatility today, so just make sure you're prepared for that. Now, we were also talking about the possibility that, potentially we've completed this move into this low here, and this whole move could just be looking to form a bigger corrective structure to the upside. Now, within that idea, what we'd be potentially looking for is something more along these lines here, where we're looking for a bigger ABC pattern. Now, within this idea, like I said in the previous videos, we could be looking for this to become an A, we get a B and a C. Then we'd be either looking for this move to progress up like this, or alternatively, we just get a simple ABC pattern and then look for this continuation down. So really, with any kind of a move to the upside, still until we start breaking back above primarily this orange box over here, and then alternatively this blue box over here, we need to just be careful that even if we do get a bigger corrective 3-wave structure which looks to push us back above these highs, we could still see continuation to the downside and a more violent sell-off looking to play out at a later point. So just need to be aware of these ideas. Now, if we are talking about the potential of this move looking to break to the upside from this low, which is very hard to count this move down into this low just because of the size difference, because if we want to count this as 1, 2, 3, we'd have to then say that this was a triangle and this is our 5th wave into this area, but the difference between this wave 2 and this wave 4 is quite large, so it's not the primary way I'm looking at this. Now, if we are looking at the possibility of this breaking to the upside here, there's 2 ways that I'm looking at this structure. So if we're going to look at it the corrective way, what we then say is that this move is just playing out as a bigger corrective pattern, where what we have here is basically a bigger W, an X, and a Y. Now, within this idea, what we'd be saying is that this potentially is A, this is B, and then they're looking at this as our C wave. Now, the way that we'd have to count this as a C wave, if we're looking at it in this way, would be saying that this is wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a diagonal pattern. Now, within this idea, what this would then mean is that this move could potentially already be completed here into this high of this 27,496. So if we do start to see price breaking down in a bigger way, this would then align with the idea that this is just a bigger corrective pattern where this is ABC. And now if we do have that as a bigger ABC pattern, this could mean that this is the Y wave completed. We've hit this 121 level. We've also moved up into this 1382 to this 1236. Now, the key thing that I'm going to be looking out for here is that if we are looking at this move to extend to the upside, but in a corrective way, what we could have is that this is still our WXY. This forms an A wave. And then we could still look to find support. Now, the support zones that I'm going to be watching for, if we do look to move down here, so this would be within the corrective structure, would be looking for a bigger 3-wave move down back into this 50% to the 786 level, which would be 26,377 to this 25,775. A 3-wave move back down into the zone would be a retest, obviously, of this area over here, and could align with actually seeing a bigger push up here where this becomes A, we get B, and we get our C wave up, which could potentially push us back up here towards this 28,361. Now, if we do get a move up like this, this would then align with actually something like this in the flat correction, where we could be looking to push back up into this orange target box area that we went over earlier. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. If we do find support here on any kind of a move to the downside, we're going to be looking for that push up. Now, it is also possible that, we could look at this in a more bullish way and say that this move is actually completed as a B wave, where this is A, this is B, and then we're looking for a bigger C wave here, looking for a bigger flat correction like we talked about earlier, where we are looking for a move up directly from this point. Now, if we are looking to move up here, going to be watching out for this typical zone that we are looking for here as a flat, which would be this 1618 to this 1236. We also discussed the fact that we need to keep an eye on this 1-to-1 here at this 27,863 if this is going to be something like a running flat. But the problem is that the internals of this would actually suggest that there is a bit more upside here, because there's a couple of ways that I'm looking at this internal as a bullish count. Now, within the bullish count here, there's a few things that we could have. So we could argue that internally here, what we have is that this move is 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we could be looking at this as 1, 2, and then still looking at a series of 1s and 2s here. But the problem is it's starting to get quite choppy looking at it like this. So the key area here I'm looking for is 28,053 and this 28,602. If we start to see impulsive price action pushing us up past that zone, this would then align with this actually extending, but it would actually then suggest that either we're getting this as 1, 2, 1, 2 here, and then we're going to start to see bigger price action exploding to the upside, or alternatively, we could have something else going on here where we have that diagonal. Now, this is looking for the bullish case. Like I said, we need to also respect the fact that this could be a completed corrective move. So we're going to be watching these key levels. Now, if we do look for continuation here, we could still see this as 1, 2, 1, 2, but we'd need to hold this 26,669. And we've come down into this typical retracement area here of this 27,074 to this 26,842. If we start to lose that level, it becomes less likely that we're going to see this continuation to the upside within this count. And, if we lose this invalidation zone, then it's probably more like, then it means that we've got something else going on here. Now, within this idea, what I'd be looking to actually do to confirm this, if this is 1, 2, and we have another 1, 2 here, see a price push back up towards 28,257. Now, this would then mean that we'd need to see 5-wave structure here with good volume coming up here for this wave 3, getting a retracement, and then seeing this 5th wave play out. If we do see something like that, then I will be looking out for this 28,336, which would then confirm the additional 1 and 2 here. So this would all then become a wave 3. We get 4 and 5. So as long as we continue to hold these lows and continue to push up here, we have the potential that this could start to evolve in a bigger impulsive structure. And then effectively what this would mean is that all of this structure would be within the white wave 3, and then we'd be looking to push up past that 28k like we said, and then basically this would then mean that we have an additional fourth and a fifth and a fourth and a fifth from the completion of this lower degree count, where we're looking for this yellow fifth wave. So this would mean that, you know, this is going to start to push up in a more aggressive way here. We need to see whether the price action follows through. Now, if we do lose this invalidation point, I'm not going to write this off entirely, because it is still possible, like we discussed earlier, that we could look at this potentially as a diagonal, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if this is a diagonal pattern here, what I would be looking out for is that even if we do see price do something like this, A, B, and C, and we actually look to come back down and then invalidate that idea of that 1, 2, 1, 2, we could still have this as a bigger 1 and a 2. Now, if we do get something like this, our typical support zone is going to be here at this 50% to the 786. We have already come down and hit that 382, so I'm just watching this area. If we start to see price reversing to the upside, as is possible, we could have had a really shallow retracement, but I'm looking for that potential here that as long as we remain below this 27,362, we could see another push up and then down, looking to bring us back down into some of these levels, like I said, 26,844 to this 26,847. Now, this would invalidate by crossing this low, which is sitting here at this 26,225. What I would be looking for within this count, if we are looking to extend where this becomes 1 and 2, is then we'd be looking for this 28,785. Now, that would be based off of coming back into the 0.618, which is sitting here at this 26,696. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that level, but if we don't come down as deep as that, this would just change the target to the upside. 50% would be 28,948, and then off of where we currently are, it would be 29,057 would be our target. So going to be watching the price here to see if we start to get some impulsive structure developing to the upside, or whether we're going to just get a bit of a corrective move looking to bring us back down into some of these levels. And then we'll be looking to see this confirm. Now, if we do get something like this, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the same idea would be here, that this would all become part of this bigger wave 3 in the white wave 3, and then we'd still have an additional fourth and a fifth looking to play out from further up here, where what we'd say is that after this move over here, what we'd have is this is 1, 2, this would be 3, we get 4, 5, we get another fourth and a fifth, and then we'd look for a potential of either a rejection and a push back to the downside, or alternatively, we would then be looking for the potential that this low could hold here, and this could actually become a bigger A wave, we get a B wave, and then we look for that C wave up. So those are the things that I'm going to be looking for here within the bullish counts. But really, if we start to lose 26,219, the probability then becomes that we're going to see continuation down, unless this is going to be developing as this bigger corrective structure to the upside. So even if we do start to break down here, we just need to be respectful that, you know, if we hold these two target boxes, we could still see a bit of a rally to the upside here, and then look for that continuation to the downside after having a push up. Having a look at the daily CPR lines here, what we can see is that we are currently underneath our central lines, which are sitting at this 27,167 to this 27,066 level. If we do look to continue to push down, you're going to be watching this 26,753 as potential support here. We also do have this 26,671, which is yesterday's low. Going to be watching that level. If we lose that level, we do have 26,295, 25,934, and this 25,495 as potential downside targets for today. If, however, we look to find support here, and we look to either rally up directly from where we are, or see a test to this lower level and then look to rally, what I'll then be looking for as targets would be this 27,568, 27,945, 28,389, and this 28,758 as potential upside targets for today. Now, moving over here and having a look at the weekly pivots, what we can see is that we've rejected off of this R1 line, and what I'm looking out for here is that, you know, if we do look to hold the support of those daily lines, we could potentially look for a reversal back to the upside, getting back above this 27,310, would then open up the targets for potential 28,092 this week, 29,285 for the rest of this week. If, however, we start to reject down here, we could potentially look to find support lower down at this 26,318, 26,099 and this 25,878. Now this would align more with the idea that this whole move is potentially a corrective structure. We get three-wave structure down and then we look for that continuation up, or alternatively, you know, if we do look at this move potentially as a diagonal pattern here, we could be looking for that as a 1-2 and then looking for that continuation up, but it would be quite a deep retracement if we hit that. If we lose these central lines here, targets to the downside this week becomes this 25,323. We have this 24,121 and this 23,332 as potential downside targets for this week. Now moving over here and having a look at the monthly CPR lines, we can see that we are currently fighting with the central line here at this 27,107. If we do see price looking to push back down, we could potentially find support here at this 26,537, which would be coming back into this little bit of a support zone that we've got here. If we do look to push back above this, I will be watching this 27,701 area as a possible target area where we could actually encounter some resistance. If we do move back above these central lines, this then opens up the target for a test of this R1 line here at this 29k region, and then we have other targets for this month towards this 32,172 and this 34,170 to the upside. Now if we do start to see price breaking down here, going to be paying attention to this 23,976, 22,041, and then all the way down here this month we have potential target for this 28,898. Though we don't always have to hit all these targets, but this closer one would be quite interesting to me in the idea of a bigger ABC pattern. So if we do see price coming back down into this zone, it could be an interesting area to see if we get a reaction and either get a bounce to the upside here, or alternatively just get a smaller three-wave move and that three-wave down in that diagonal pattern. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you will find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We will see you in the next one. Take care.